From the ashes of the old world, in the shadows of the last great war, the world was shattered by magic. Plains became deserts, mountains crumbled into the sea. Witches and heretics are burned in the street, lined with oathbreakers hung by their necks. Where once was law, order, empire, now only hardship and savagery remain. To the east, in Highport, a weary king rules an ungrateful people. To the west, his brother keeps swords sheathed and words of rebellion at bay. To the north and south, savage elves and cowardly dwarves openly practice arcane arts, shrouded by leaf and stone. In a time when a man's worth is measured by his word, when might makes right, and a quick death is a mercy, only those more foolish than brave venture far from home. The age of peace and prosperity has ended. In its place, only strife.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Age of Strife. How are you guys doing today?
Hey.
Wonderful.
We were just hearing about a hurricane that hit the UK.
I don't know if they called it a hurricane, but what I want to say is that it was called Doris, and it didn't really hit the town that I'm in, but it's a fun name.
Very nice. Speaking of, how have you been in the last 2 weeks? 2.5 weeks? It's been a while since we've played.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some interesting times, but recently I've been good. And yeah, like I was saying right before we started, it was 80 degrees a couple of days ago. That was a really nice change.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Other than that, I've played some Football Manager in my time off, which is really fun. And when I say fun, I mean like horribly excruciating.
Which team are you managing?
I am managing. Oh yeah, it's a team in the Scottish League 2 called Elgin City, and they're really bad. My first year, they told me all I had to do was not finish last, and I did it. I finished next to last, and so now I'm in season 2, and things are going okay, not too bad. It's gonna take a while to make some progress, but I'm trying.
All right.
What about you, Autumn? How's it been going this last week?
So a few days ago, Thursday, I did one of my usual games. I had Max join us, who used to be on the show, and he's on Shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
And he did something out of the ordinary. After I set up an arena type battle, I put the players teleported them into an arena where they were stuck in magical circles, where the arena master in the middle was just about to conjure up the thing they were about to fight. And he decides he is going to cast Misty Step. In 5th edition, as a bonus action, and goes straight forward into the middle. So he has to roll a charisma save to get through his first magical circle, which he natural 20s, straight through it. And he's like, okay, so he wants to head straight into the middle, which is also a magical circle. And he nat 20s straight through into that as well. And then decides to cast a counter spell on the arena master who's doing a conjuring.
That's
And then they start fighting the arena master, which is perfectly fine. I'm okay with that. It was just weird. And for almost half the battle, the party was stuck in little magical circle pods.
And did Max die at the end of it?
No one died because 5th edition easy.
What about you, Tyler? What's been up?
Last 2 weeks, mostly a lot of work. Haven't done anything. I've played video games a lot, and I didn't get to play a game last week because one of my players canceled on me, but it's always sad. I don't think I've done anything exciting. Yeah.
All right then. Does anyone remember where we were last time we played? I think we skipped through a lot of material.
Yeah, we skipped through a lot of time because after getting out of Nixon, we had to kind of recover a bit. We lost like all of our armor, or Luther did. We had to get some of that back, and then we went around the Stinking Marsh for some reason.
We went to the beach to scout out our plans to drain the swamp.
Yeah, we're going to drain the swamp after building the wall, and on the way there, because we were scouting out the beach, we ran into some goblins on frogs, and Luther ended up running away again. Except it was because of his horse this time.
I believe you charged on your horse and the horse got hit.
Yeah, because I got a lance because I ended up getting a new weapon proficiency, and I took lance, and I thought, all right, time to try it out. I charged the goblin, the horse got hit, and it just turned around and went the other way. So
You need a horse that's ready for that sort of work.
yeah, and Arthur, I think, is going to train the horses to be light war horses, or maybe it was medium war horses, something like that.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah, it's I think it was going to take like 4 months or something to train one.
Mm-hmm. I think you can train them in parallel, though.
Okay.
I've done some looking into what it takes to get a horse to be a little less skittish, and I think you could probably do it with multiple horses and without adding too much time.
Okay. Well, so we went and scouted out the beach because what we're thinking about doing is draining the Stinking Marsh into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we found out that it would cost something like, what was it, like 2,500 gold or something ridiculous?
It was a lot of mathematics.
Yeah.
And a lot of math. Basically, last game was just math and dragons. And I didn't participate in that because it wouldn't help. There was some math and dragons going on. And we went back, we presented the plan to the Countess, and I think after all that, because she told us that she wanted us to pay for it. And as you all know, we don't pay for draining the swamp or building the wall. So I think we said that we'd find a way to build the wall before we drain the swamp. So
Okay. But today, you guys were going to head off in search of Goblin Lands to sort that out, right?
I
I
think we were
was
thinking about
I was hoping that our militia could be ready in time and we could take them on their first trek into the
Yes, what did we have? 10 soldiers will be ready by now. They will fight together as 0th level fighters with no penalties to hit. They've got 12 AC from their leather armor, or is it 13 AC?
Do they have
13
shields?
AC.
I think they have a buckler too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 14
Armor
AC,
hands, yeah.
which is pretty
Yeah.
solid.
Leather
Not
armor,
bad.
buckler, and short spears.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's okay.
Did we get them all nice tabards as well?
Right, with
Yeah.
House Thorn sigil and words across them.
Yeah, I think theirs were painted
Hmm.
or whatever was cheapest, and we also got one for each of ourselves, and those are stitched, I think.
Hmm.
We got the fancy ones.
Yeah. And I think, are all of ours black with a red rose?
Uh,
That's what I got.
I believe
Yeah.
so.
Black with red rose. I kind of wouldn't mind to have a silver lining because that makes it look cooler, but same thing really.
Yeah.
Okay. I think everything is working now. So let's hop into game. We were skipping forward until the caravan arrived, which is going to be March 19 is their return date.
Yes.
So
That's
a
all.
lot of time has passed with you guys eagerly waiting around for this caravan. And let's talk about what's been happening kingdom-wide for a moment here. So word has arrived from the south This time not about the war, but about just the political situation there. It appears that some of the eastern lords, the ones on your side of the continent, of the kingdom, have been very unhappy about the way that the war is being waged in the west with the orcs. They're very displeased about the casualties their men have sustained and the lost horses and equipment. There's been an uptick in political pressure to end the war, bring the troops back, and protect the Easterners who are growing more and more weary of ships they've seen sailing up and down the coast. The pirate wars of 30 years ago are still fairly fresh in the minds of some of the older folk, and they see these ships as a potential threat. So they've been trying to bring back the Eastern troops and let the Westerners fend for themselves. That's the news of what's going on around the continent, or around the kingdom. And you guys are in Wadsworth. You're hanging out when one of your servants comes running that the caravan is in sight, and that they will be here within a few hours, or within an hour.
Well, good thing it didn't get destroyed or anything. Quite nice.
Yes. Is there anything you guys want to do in particular, or should we just skip to the caravan arriving?
I guess it doesn't matter that it's this specific time, but there is something I do want to talk to Joseph about.
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay, so I guess I don't know where Joseph is hanging out. Maybe he's just downstairs in the common room or something. And I head down and I ask him, Joseph, how do you get stone? Where does stone come from, Joseph?
Dear cousin, stone comes from the ground. It's part of the earth that we walk upon. In fact, if you dig down anywhere, even in the depths of the ocean, eventually you will hit stone. It is the bottom layer of our plane. Some people think it's that we live on the border of the elemental plane of Earth, but that's not true. It's a false notion by half-hearted scientists and pseudo magic theories. It's nonsense. Clearly, the elemental plane of Earth is out there with the others, and the intersection of the four planes is what creates our planet. Yes.
Out there with the others. What?
The four elemental planes: earth, fire, air, and water. They come together and create our world and the philosopher's staff that holds it up. And the bottom of the staff is held by Nadinus, and the top of the staff is turned by Tempos, and that's why the world goes round. That's why we see different stars in the sky.
Is it possible for me to master all four elements?
I don't know what you mean by mastering the elements. Are you an alchemist?
Never mind. The reason I was asking, how is the stone gathered for the wall and the keep and all these stone structures we have? How is it gathered, and why is it that
very diligent workers or slaves go out and use tools to bring the earth out of the ground or out of mountains or anywhere that they have access to it, and carve out large chunks and then cart them along or roll them over logs or float them down rivers or other techniques that are long lost to us. And then they stack the stones on top of each other to build a wall.
Well,
it seems like your father did not do a very good job of educating you. But I suppose he was busy off fending for the family.
Something like that. So do these quarries still exist? Why is no more stone being gathered?
Oh, you mean why don't we use the old quarries to procure? Oh, I see. That's a much more sensible question. Well, some of the stone we've gathered in the past came from the area now known as Hagthor's Claim, back before it was what it is today. There is not exactly accessible. People tend to give them a large breadth of a room for good reasons. You saw what they did when they were angry. It's not a good idea to piss off giants.
Well, you said stone is everywhere beneath us.
Well, yes, but there's varying qualities, and you might run into shale, which is terrible for building anything, or limestone, which is easy to cut and move, but doesn't hold up all that well. It erodes. You could build walls out of limestone, but 100 years they would be fairly crumbly.
I'll be dead by then. That's fine.
Well, you can't just build for today. You must build for tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll always be repairing the walls. No. Each generation can contribute one good thing to society.
So if I were to try to start a quarry in our backyard, it wouldn't work out there. Well,
Oh, you might have to dig quite a ways before you reach any stone, and it might not be of the right quality, and it'd be difficult to keep the quarry from collapsing, destroying our house and everything around it. It's not quite a practical approach, but I applaud your creativity.
well, I try to come up with the best ideas. So there's been no history of quarries being built anywhere other than Hagthor's Claim.
I think once upon a time there were some further to the north, back when human-elven relations were better. The elves had a quarry beyond what is now the Tuk-Tuk Mountains, because those mountains didn't exist back then. Or probably somewhere in that area, maybe just underneath where they are now. They used the marble they excavated from there to build some of their finer palaces and citadels.
Marble?
Some theorize that marble may be what makes up the majority of the Tuk-Tuk Mountains.
That's what I was about to ask, actually.
Well, it's all theory, of course. Not helped by the fact that what's-their-names say they've found gold there. There should be no gold in mountains made of marble. Doesn't quite work that way.
I'll take your word for it. But if the mountains are marble, would it be possible to quarry stone directly from the mountains?
Absolutely. If they were truly made of marble, even if they were covered in a thin veneer of other stone, quarry quite a bit. Marble's an excellent building tool.
So I've heard. Maybe I should go to the mountains and take a sample. See what's really there.
Excellent.
What tools would people be using to gather stone? A pickaxe?
Well, if you want to gather stone to actually build things, you need the appropriate chisels. It takes a skilled stonemason to
Like
excavate.
the one we brought in?
Yes.
Interesting. But I suppose to take a sample, I could do that on my own, correct?
If you just want any given sample, I would take a hammer and a chisel or an axe or a pick or something and go nuts and take back what you can.
That sounds good. I suppose it might be of use in investigating the what's-their-names claims of gold in the mountains as well. Seems strange that they would be able to find such things. I assume it would be near the surface. I don't know how they would dig deep enough to find gold.
That's usually how gold is discovered. Someone finds a little bit on the surface somewhere, and people descend like mad to tear apart the hill or mountain to search for more.
Yes, I suppose you could say it would be like a gold rush. Well, thank you, Joseph. I'll keep this in mind.
Of course.
And I guess I head out of the house to buy a pickaxe.
Okay. Pickaxes can be bought for 4 gold, and they weigh 5 pounds.
That is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Good tools are expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's fine. I'll buy a pickaxe for 4 gold.
All right. So, is the caravan on the way?
Yes, the caravan is here. It's moving in through the front gates, and you guys can meet it in the main market square if you'd like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Sound noise. All right, you head out to the main market square where there is the caravan. And there's a bunch of people, there's animals, there's, what do you call them? Barkers hawking wares of all sorts, trying to draw people away from the caravan to their rather normal stalls. Yeah.
So, as well as going to pick up our stuff, is there anything weird and exotic being shown off?
Let's see. So they bring your 3 breastplates, the chain limbs, and a nice big helmet for Ginger. They have replaced the horses that you bought from them last time. So if you want to buy more horses from them at their inflated prices, you can do so. Let's see, any exotic things that they might have brought with them? They have brought with them... Ooh.
Elven slave.
No elven slaves. They have brought a halfling with them, who is they claim to be is some sort of craftsman who makes wooden flutes. He's got a whole cart full of them, or not a cart, like a little table filled with flutes and other woodwind instruments. And I think that's probably the most exotic thing. Everything else would be their standard pots and jewelry and tools from far away. Mostly luxury goods and whatever it is that people have ordered through them. You guys have already paid up for your gear, so they just hand it over to you.
Yeah. Nice.
Wonderful.
So we all now have plate chest armor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was saying to Neal before I started that if I wear the plate chest, have my shield, I'm at the same AC, and I've cut down a few pounds, like 14 or something. I'll do the maths now.
Let's figure out what everyone's new AC is so we can update the overlays.
Yeah, so I'll be at 18 unless I want to fully equip chain limbs and go to 20. And then I'll be heavy. Yeah, 20.
So you'll be at 18-20.
And Arthur's got a dex modifier, right?
Yes.
A big one, I think.
Yep, I've got, I think it's +3.
Lord.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're you just having the breastplate, or do you have chain limbs? What is your total gear setup?
Let's see, I think I'm going to do the breastplate and the chain limbs, plus my dex modifier.
Does that bring you to 20?
No, he hasn't got a shield, right? Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, I think so.
Yep. I've got dodging, which is my shield.
Okay, so 2 and 5 and 3. Yeah, that's 20. And Patrick, what are you at?
I am at 17 without a shield and 19 with my shield.
Okay. And Ginger, you're actually at you're at 15, and then with your shield you're at 18, and then with the limbs you're at 20. So you've got 3 different ACs.
Yeah, which I will clarify whenever it needs to happen.
Okay. Tyler, you're 20/22 with the shield, right?
I don't have a shield, but
You
if
don't
I
have a
had one, yes.
Okay, but you don't have a shield, so you're just always at 20. Perfect.
Yeah.
Easy. Okay, and that should update for everyone now. Perfect.
So I'm now wearing 48 pounds of armor, and my base encumbrance is 45. So I'm always encumbered with armor now. It doesn't matter what I have.
Oops.
It's okay because you're on a horse.
Yeah, that's why I got Vinny.
Okay. Okay. Just updating all the numbers on all the sheets. Okay, so you're geared up. Your levels 3, 4, and 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent. All right, so geared up. What do you want to do?
Well, now that we finally have armor, we can actually go do things. So, what is... So if we took the militia with us, and we killed things,
Yes.
would they gain experience in a tangible way? Or would it just be like...
It'd be nice if they could level up, but I don't think they can.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if there's an actual reason besides them being killed instead of us to take them.
So I think if you have the same guards and you use them enough for long enough, they can become 2 hit die guards with a +1 to hit. But there's not really a mechanic in place to establish that. So I think we're just going to kind of play it by the seat of our pants, and it'll probably take a few months of active use in combat.
Actually, I have an idea.
And it's likely many will die on the process to all of them becoming 2 hit die.
Yeah.
You cull the weak, keep the strong. They level up, but they'll have to survive.
Yeah.
They're not fighters, but
No.
is there any way they could, say, become better at shields or spears?
I don't know what you mean by shields or spears. Like
You know how we as fighters have our points in our weapons and armors and shields and all that?
Mm-hmm.
Can they get better in that way?
So, if they... Not really. They're not going to be able to specialize in a weapon and get, extra attacks and extra damage like that. But when they become 2nd or 2 hit die creatures, we might be able to give them a shield proficiency. Bonus of 1 with their shield. That could work.
Okay.
If they ever get there.
So there's another thing. There's stats for like chain barding and plate barding for horses.
Yes.
Can I have a horse gambeson made?
Yes. If you want to make a nice thick padded gambeson for your horse, it can probably be done. It'll only increase their AC by 1 since they already have 13. So it'll just bring their AC to 14. But yes, it could be done.
Interesting. Do you know about how much it would weigh?
Loads.
Quite a
Probably.
bit.
A human gambeson is 8 pounds.
It's probably 3 times that amount. I'm going to take a look at what the
It might
horse
be like
barding.
4 to 8 times in weight.
It might be. There's rules for horse barding in the player's handbook.
Yeah, I looked at them at one point, but
You know where those rules are? Money.
No idea.
Equipment. We'll just take the appropriate multiplier from there and then use that with the
Yeah.
gambeson.
so I think if it gets to a certain point of weight, it's probably not even worth it for 1 AC.
Yeah. Where is it? Maybe it's in combat and tactics.
There's an equipment for mounts section and arms and equipment.
Okay.
Barding. Equipment for mounts. Pieces of horse armor? Oh, that's strange. Oh, there's padded barthing. There's a section for that, actually.
Ooh.
Ah.
That would be the one.
Yeah, this style of quilted barding only has minor protective value, giving the mount an AC bonus of 1, and it weighs 60 pounds.
Sounds
pretty
about
heavy.
right, actually.
Yeah. And then there's leather barding, which also weighs 60 pounds. And it doesn't
Okay.
say-
So
it's the
here
same.
I've see padded barding for a horse at 30 pounds.
There's
Leather at 50. Chain at 100. Is this for horses?
there's all kinds of weird ones. Scale barding, brigandine barding.
Mm-hmm.
This section is interesting. It doesn't say how much it costs.
Padded is 35, leather's 75, chain is 500. That's what the old rules for that sort of thing, but I think we can just stick to those. We don't need to fuss with them.
Yeah. So maybe once we're super rich, we can get like chain barding, which might actually be useful.
Mm-hmm. Chain barding would give it a bonus of 2 the AC.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what are you guys up to?
Well, Luther's going to go talk to Kel Reginald and ask him about the militia.
I'll be there with you because definitely have to meet them and eye them up.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, that's what Luther's going to ask about. Actually, he's going to go to Kel Reginald and ask Kel Reginald. You spent some time with the militia now. Who are the most promising members? Are there any specifically?
He looks long and hard. You know, there are a pair. There are two that are looking to be real fine soldiering material.
Good.
Yes. Write these names down in my notes before I forget. There's Annis and Jacob.
What are they like? Are they actually somewhat intelligent, or
Oh, it's not a matter of intelligence. The
Is there
two of them
promise?
have a disposition for violence. They seem a little more eager and willing to get that killer instinct going. A little faster to join the fray, a little bit braver. More
see.
willing to take a risk to bring down their enemies. I think Jacob's maybe a little bit too eager sometimes. Anna says, done a well. Oh, yes, Lord?
I was just going to say he sounds a bit like Sheriff Bruce.
So they're really into it. Would you say they're ready? I mean, because we're thinking of heading out today.
Ready as they'll ever be.
Brilliant.
They'll remain green until they've at least seen some sort of action firsthand.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's looking like we're going to be heading into the swamps and possibly north to the mountains. So we'll probably see something up there.
Yeah, we're going to get a sample of the mountain and figure out a good route. That's the sort of objectives.
You'd like to bring everyone along?
I was thinking maybe just Annis and Jacob. That's part of why I was asking to see who might be the best to take along with us, because bringing 10 men along seems...
Yes, it creates a supply problem.
Yes.
It's difficult to travel with that many metamaterial.
What do you think, Kel, Reginald? Do you think there would be value in bringing all 10 along, or maybe just taking the promising
There's
one?
certainly value in bringing them.
Well, not. I mean, value in a development kind of way rather than a safety kind of way.
I'm not sure what you mean, my lord, about development.
Would it help them a lot to bring them along?
Yes. The very best thing for troops is to see battle.
Maybe we should bring all 10 then. Certainly.
Yeah, it would be safer in a large number. But in a much larger number, then the goblins wouldn't probably confront us. So we might not be able to face them.
Well, if you're speaking about searching goblin territory, you bring enough soldiers and you have to move much more slowly. When one person gets stuck and it's just 4 people walking, it's a simple matter to get them unstuck and move along. But when you have 4 times as many people, it's 4 times as many incidences of getting stuck and slowing down.
Yes,
it's a lot
we'll
of
already be moving quite slowly, especially if we don't bring the horses.
a lot of food and water you need to bring, and extra supplies, bandages, and it also makes you a lot easier to spot.
Yes,
It's sticking out like a sore thumb. So
On the other hand, if we find the goblins, it could be useful to have more of us with it.
absolutely.
well, even with what happened last time we saw some goblins, I still don't consider them much of a threat, really.
That was, a few in a raiding party. When they're all together, and if we corner them, they'd all face us.
Yes, but I'm not really thinking about cornering them on this.
Of course not. But if we find their location, and next time we go fight them, we will bring the fight to them. This time, maybe not. I'd say bring them all. I'll look after them.
Okay. We'll bring them all.
I will gather them and tell them we'll leave tomorrow? Day after?
Tomorrow sounds good, I think, as long as we'll be ready in time.
I'll see that they are. If there's nothing else, I will go ready them right now.
All right.
Very good.
He gives a stiff salute and walks out, placing a hand on Arthur's shoulder as he leaves.
I nod to him.
Is there anything we need to do before we go? So I found last time when I found this snake, that was in the forest, right?
Yep.
Yes.
What do you two think about taking another trip into the forest just for some poisons? It wasn't useful the last time we had it, but it certainly could have been.
Well, maybe not on this trip if we're bringing everyone with us. Otherwise, we'd just be eating a whole bunch of supply for that.
Oh, I meant before we head out with them. Going out today.
Today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a little afternoon trip.
I don't see why not.
Forest, but it shouldn't be too bad.
All right.
So north of Wadsworth, the swamp, is the forest like completely meshing with the swamp?
Yes, the swamp does flow into the forest, and it becomes kind of a wooded, swampy area like the Everglades.
Yeah, so bringing the horses there would not be the best of ideas.
Fairly terrible, yeah.
Yeah. Though I suppose we could go to the southern part.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fine. Okay. Well, that's what I think Luther's going to want to do. So he's going to go get all his armor on and get his regular sword and a silver sword and all that stuff. Get ready.
Autumn and Arthur? No, Ginger and Arthur. What are you guys doing?
I'm making sure I have all my weapons on me I have my silver dagger in case we come across that werewolf again.
Mhm.
And something I think we forgot. Since I'm a ranger, when I leveled up, I'm supposed to have chosen a favorite enemy at some point.
Ah, yes. What is your favorite enemy?
Okay, so the question is, how specific / general should I be? So should I say werewolf or lycanthrope?
Ooh,
Hmm,
that's a good question.
interesting.
Hmm.
Because I mean,
Wow. Go ahead.
like,
Make your case. Make your case.
like werewolves it would be something pretty specific. So it's kind of obvious here that if I can do lycanthrope, that gives me more utility than werewolf, and there's not really any trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
So the way is, I know the second edition doesn't really have a mechanic for doing this, but the way I, in theory, would handle this is like the more general you are, the less benefits you get. But
Right.
if you do something really, really specific, like you really hate like female halfling zombie hookers.
Plus 10 to hit.
Yeah. So if you ever run into one of those, you really hate them and are really good at fighting them. But if you hate humanoids, well, you've got a problem because you're a ranger. But
Okay, so I am willing to do. If you want to say werewolves are your what is the term? There's a technical term here. Your
Favorite enemy? Is it?
something. I guess I
yeah,
thought there
I
was a
think it's
specific.
favorite enemy.
Sure, favorite enemy. So if you do werewolves as your favorite enemy, you get the +4 to hit and -4 on reaction rolls. That is, you'll be kind of visibly upset around them and unable to hide your emotions, and probably getting them to fight you more often because you'll be antagonistic. So you get a -4 to your reaction, +4 to hit, and then we can do other lycanthropes at +2 to hit, but still the -4 to reaction because you understand them well enough from your werewolf learning to gain a bonus to hit them, but you're probably still disliking them as much. Does that sound fair?
Sure, makes sense to me. All right, I'll go
Okay.
favorite enemy werewolf.
All right, so that's +4 to hit against werewolves.
Yep.
And 2 to hit against other lycanthropes. Okay.
And rangers could be really good serial killers with favorite enemy.
Well, Ranger is one of those weird tracking hunter type people. Very serial huntery.
Yes.
You also
All right.
have a couple of thief skills, right?
Yep, hide in shadows and move silently.
Yeah, you could definitely be a serial killer.
There you go.
There's the whole you have to be good or you lose your ranger status thing, but hey.
That's true.
Next Tyson Death character.
If it's female halfling zombie hookers, those are inherently evil. So.
But if you picked humans, you could be a Dexter-like character. Only killing bad people and getting a +4 to hit against all humans.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. All right, we're going to go to our break, and when we come back, we will get into some trouble. See you guys on the other side. Bye-bye.